Hi Gemini, hope you guys are doing great today. So let's get right into your general messages for the first 2 weeks of June. Hope you guys are doing great. Happy birthday to you guys. I'm doing you guys first. This is your birthday season. So I'm really going to just be sticking with the energies, guys. I'm not going to be getting, I have a bunch of videos dealing with astrology, Black Moon Lilith, retrogrades, all that stuff. Definitely check those out so you know you get the full context of what's really happening with us right now. To get right into this though, I'm going to be interpreting whatever I pull for relationship as well as job, home, whatever comes out. Whatever comes out, that's what we get. Okay, so let's do a past, present, future, final outcome. We'll interpret these first and then we'll see what we need clarification on, okay? And we'll throw the astro dice for additional messages. Okay, so starting off here in the past, we have the Four of Pentacles. So this shows me in the past there was a need for stability and establishing a firm foundation, Gem. Maybe you were suffering some hardships in the past, right? But this energy does indicate that the toughest times were over as your work began to pay off. And while this doesn't indicate really a huge windfall, this tells me that you were in a space at least where you felt like you had enough money or acknowledgement to feel satisfied for the time. And this also indicates to me like a protection of assets, or you feeling the need to protect some sort of traditional values that you hold. Also, the idea of being able to provide a very strong foundation for maybe a growing family or even just for yourself was probably very important to you. So you might have been considering, or may still be considering, moving to a new home, or even investing in a small business, or in something, doing something different in career that's going to end up bringing you future dividends in some way. In work, this does indicate attaining a position that's really secure. So if your work is temporary, for example, this can indicate you being offered a permanent position. And I do know a lot of you are in that position, right? A lot of you guys have been emailing me about being in temp positions as teachers and temp positions because of the COVID, because of the pandemic. But this does indicate you being offered something more permanent. And I do want to say, because whenever we have a pentacle energy, if you're here with relationship on your heart and it's not resonating with you as far as money, pentacles do indicate mental, physical, and emotional connection, okay? So this does indicate that in the past it was like you had enough, but you really weren't getting what it was fully that you wanted, and you were in a space of self-protection where you were giving to the relationship, but you were also holding back. You might have even been dealing with somebody else who was like this, where you're in that space of self-protection, giving just enough, but not the whole bag of potatoes, as they say, right? You are holding back to protect yourself. Now, to clarify that, we have the Hierophant reverse, and the reverse shows you needing, in the past, you having to deal with poor leadership. Now, let me just explain that, right? Because this is kind of like a bigger energy. The Hierophant is a Sagittarius energy, and Sagittarius has to do with belief systems, right? So in reverse, this can tell me that you were maybe in a partnership where they were not as committed as you wanted them to be, or as they should have been, or maybe you weren't as committed as maybe you should have been, or they needed, for you to be. But this can indicate you dealing with an energy who is just too self-absorbed to celebrate the sacred in your relationship, and that ends up pushing you to rethink things. For those of you here with relationship on your heart, for those of you, just in general, guys, having to do with relationship or even job, honestly, you might have been dealing with some sort of incompetent or egotistical individual, either in a relationship or even at work, or even on your spiritual path, okay? So, some sort of clergy or some sort of spiritual guide that you've been using, maybe was sort of serving their own needs. You may have been involved with an individual who was maybe kind of very self-absorbed, is really what I want to say. More interested in furthering their own ambitions than supporting you in yours, if that makes sense, right? As in reverse, this energy can also indicate like institutions, corporations, even just places of work in need of restructuring, right? But not doing it well. It's like there's poor advice here, and then ends up being mistrust, and this really does like warn of like moral repercussions having to do with dealing with a person who is way too self-absorbed. You know what I mean? It just is. So really here, getting this energy, it's really better to seek your own path than to stay in a situation that's really not suiting you anymore. So, but this is guys, again, this is in the past. So you maybe were in a situation having to do with work where you're like, you know what, this is not even suited for me anymore. You're just coming to the realization. Whether you were acting on it at that point yet or not is actually besides the point. But this is mentally you getting into that space. This could be you being in a relationship where you're just like, you know what? I shouldn't feel like I have to protect myself so much here. Why do I feel like I can't totally trust this person who I'm in a relationship with? You know, their level of egotism is really uncomfortable for me. And this is just really you forging your own path and recognizing that something was just not healthy for you in the past, and you need to do you. You know, you need to do you. And you coming to realizations about that, having to do either with work or even in a relationship. Now, the current situation here, I have the Ten of Pentacles reverse. Okay, so this can reveal communication problems. First of all, for those of you who are dealing with a lot of family right now, something within a family where certain family members try to dominate one another, like children. This is an energy where if you're dealing with something having to do with your children and parents disagreeing, having very different attitudes, maybe not even seeing eye to eye with a partner, right? You know, someone that you're living with. Now, this can definitely indicate highlighted contention of some sort of issue that you guys are dealing with, specific issue, such as like a conflict over property, a conflict over money, you know, because it's a pentacle energy. Let's talk about that first, because I like to kind of separate the two of them. So some sort of issue over money. Equally, general attitudes towards finances can be at the heart of any problem having to do with either your spouse, your kids, or even with an employer, you know, having to do with the job. Now, in romantic relationships, money, property issues, the demands of family get in the way of love. It's like ambition ends up taking over here. Personal life comes second. And you want to be careful of that, right? If that is the situation that you're experiencing right now, although it is a 10 of Pentacles, and 10 is a big number, you know, in tarot, yeah, it's still a minor arcana, guys, so it's going to pass. So this may be the kind of situation where it's like all hands on deck, having to do with paying attention to some sort of financial situation that you're needing to pay attention to right now. Okay, but this could also indicate feeling disconnected, right? Because Pentacles it does have to do with mental, emotional, and physical connection, and the way you guys connect to a job, to a person, whatever, as well, in addition to money. So in the reverse, this can indicate you may be not feeling very connected because you're focused on these other things right now, okay? And that's being clarified by the Judgment reverse. And this tells me that, guys, some of you may be stuck in the past or refuse to learn the lessons that are there for you regarding a relationship of any kind, or even in your career. Yeah. So you might find yourself in like old patterns that you're not able to yet break free from. It's like you're in that space where you're identifying it, like you could see, okay, that doesn't work for me anymore, and I know that that's not good for me anymore, but it's like you're not quite yet able to break free from it. This can also indicate delays in terms of future plans. So you might be feeling trapped and unable to progress without really understanding why. Like it's like you're understanding certain elements of a situation, but you don't have total clarity, and you're not totally understanding why you feel this level of restriction. You know, you might be recognizing like the big picture, like, well, I can't do A until I do B first, duh, you know, no kidding, that's, you know, but there's not total clarity there as to what all that means, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense to you, because it's making sense to me. But you're going to have the ability to judge your actions and your attitudes and then move on. You know, recognizing the past can't be changed, only accepted. And you really, in this energy, guys, you really need to have compassion for the person you were and for the decisions that you made at one point, because you made the best decision that you knew for yourself at the time. And you just have to know that, because you don't have to live with the results of those choices in the future, right? You can decide to be free, and you can make the decision to change that job, to get out of that relationship, to, you know, just to do things differently, even within those realms. Doesn't mean you have to quit your job or end the relationship, but you can make the decision to handle things in a different way in order to live a better life for yourself. So we do see that very much being the present energy right now. Now, in the near future, we have the Eight of Swords in reverse. So the Eight of Swords in reverse, it's the Eight of Swords, yeah. So this is telling me that this is very much a self-imprisonment energy, first of all, right? And it's the same as the upright. It just means that it's very emotional for you. There are like stronger feelings of guilt, anger, regret, you know. But this energy shows you feeling trapped. So this can be due to a series of like bad experiences or poor luck, and you start to wonder, oh my God, if things are ever going to improve. And you may even be feeling kind of anxious in this energy because of like an unhealthy bond in a relationship, or even an unhealthy bond that you need to maintain in a job. You know, so especially for a lot of you guys might be feeling very trapped by some sort of like credit agreement, some sort of bills, debt, you know, and this ends up where you feel like, you know, kind of like you're in this space where you kind of really, it's like ruminating thought, because keep in mind what this means, right? Eight of Swords is a Jupiter and Gemini energy, right? So it's like you're trying to figure out Gemini's thoughts and reality, and Jupiter is about luck and expansion, right? So you're trying to figure out a way of how could you get out of that? How could you satisfy that agreement? How could you do all of those things, right? So you're in that space of just trying to ruminate, how can I fix this? How can I fix this relationship, the truth of the situation that I'm in with this person, right? But you might find it very challenging here, right? To do what you need to do to move forward in the way that you need to move forward. You know, some of you might even be sensing like conversations are going on behind closed doors that you're not privy to, and you could even feel isolated and vulnerable right now. But really, like in a nutshell, like you might just be feeling like you're just not fitting in your life. Does that make sense? Like you're just not fitting in your life in the way that you want to. You're doing what you have to do. You're being responsible in the ways that you have to be responsible. You're in that relationship. You have that friendship. You're doing that job. You're doing what you have to do. But you feel kind of left of center of your own life right now. You know, it's because you're feeling very physically restricted in this energy. You know, and then we have the Page of Pentacles. And this is, okay, you know, because this is a core card, we always have to interpret core cards, and we should always interpret core cards as a general influence as you or as another person, okay? So as an influence, this does indicate progress and auspicious progress, rather, and auspicious beginnings, which I really like. I mean, I like this for you, especially because I feel like up to here, there's just been a lot of just a very restricted energy, right? Very restricted. So I like the Page of Pentacles, because again, now Pentacles can indicate money, emotional, physical, or mental connection as well, right? But this is a time to nurture your skills and abilities, because definitely going to be good news coming in as far as like finances, business, some sort of education that you're involved in. This highlights the need for management and things having to do with work, but like an overall management. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, you have to manage people, you have to manage projects, you have to manage whatever it is that you have going on. There's this necessity to actually, you know, really step in and manage it. This does indicate as a person, very hardworking. So this is, if this is you, super hardworking, super reliable right now. This could also indicate you meeting somebody who's really hardworking, really reliable, trustworthy, dedicated. But this is a very youthful energy, Gem. So it may be you only because, or you may be meeting another Gemini because Geminis are so youthful, right? Just in their total affect, right? Just very youthful air, right? Very sort of fresh air. This could also indicate the start of a new business or being new in a new venture. Yeah. So if this is you or someone you're dealing with, money may be there. The money may not be there like 100% the way you want it right now, but the potential is, and it's going to happen. So that is really good. I mean, this is all about success is coming. Money and opportunities are going to be revealing themselves, and you're going to have the opportunity to establish a new venture and a new path for yourself. So this can mean definitely a new job, or if you're not resonating with it at all, having to do with job and money, this can indicate a new relationship, a new connection, right? This can even indicate new friendships being formed. But what I like about this is the element of trustworthiness. So I really like that. Okay, now so this is the near future. In the final outcome of all of this, we have the 8 of Pentacles in the upright. So money is on its way. Hooray, right? This is and it's on its way, really as a result of your previous efforts or some sort of decisions that you made, rather than by like some windfall or some unexpected like gift or handout or anything like that. So this tells me that you're going to be offered an opportunity to gain new skills that they're really going to be very profitable for you in the long run. So you might be considering a new career direction, which I think we've been talking about quite a lot with you guys, right? Or at least a new approach to something, right? But this definitely indicates a need for a very diligent approach to your projects. I do always call this, those of you who've been watching me know, I call this the apprentice energy, because it comes up often to indicate like education, gaining some sort of new qualification, gaining a new way of the skill set, on how to do something new. So it doesn't have to mean a whole new career, but it's a new approach that you're going to have to learn the ropes in. So I do like that, because it's you progressing forward. This also shows a personality aspects, right? So if this appears as you, this does indicate you're very hardworking and trustworthy, very dedicated, taking your responsibilities really seriously, or you might be dealing with somebody like this. So I like this, and if this has nothing to do with money and relationships, it's you figuring out, you having already figured out what's needed in a relationship, right, to make a connection work, and the positive results of that effort beginning to take shape. Or you dealing with a partner who has had some sort of epiphany in the recent past and realized what's necessary to put the work in, and you realizing and recognizing that hard work, right? The work being put in, the effort being put into that relationship. So I really like that, because that shows positive progression moving forward. And then we have the fabulous Wheel of Fortune. Anything's possible in this energy, guys. I really like the wheel. You guys know I love the wheel because it's Jupiter, right? Jupiter's all about luck and expansion, but it also is it's very much a fated energy. So it really depends on how, and karma kind of mixes in with this. So it has to do also with how we've been living our life, right? But anything is definitely possible, and it's usually positive. So this is about chance meetings, unexpected offers, news comes quickly, almost forcefully in this energy. If things have been pretty difficult recently, it does show a turn for the better for you. You're very intuitive right now, which I like. You may find yourself tuning into people from your past, where all of a sudden they start magically appearing. You hear from people. We've been talking a lot about this, right? But it's very intuitive though, and this could be very auspicious for communication. So it could be auspicious energy for communicating with somebody from the past, with those family and friends who you haven't been communicating with very much, or who live far away from you. But more than anything, this really gives you the chance to discover all of your hidden aspects, both the good and the bad, which is, we've been talking about that a lot too, right? But you can use the positive messages in this energy right now to really listen to your intuition, and also to manifest what it is you really, really want in your life, guys, because the veil is really thin between worlds right now. It really is. Really. I mean, your angels, your guides are right in front of you. They're right behind you. They're all around you. And you need to pay attention to this, right? Now, having to do with home, this can indicate unexpected change in your living arrangements that is going to end up being very beneficial for you in the long term. Specifically to relationships, this is a partner for many of you coming back from the past, where All right, let me deal with that first. If those of you have this energy coming back from the past, you know, if things were, you have to decide if this relationship will actually succeed. You don't want to try to make it work if it isn't right. Love is going to definitely go smoothly here for sure. This is a good connection. If you're not finding yourself trying to fit a circle in a square, you guys know what I mean. This is also really good healing energy for those of you who've been having a little bit of a wonky time in relationships, you know. If it has to do with career or money, news is coming in that's going to improve your situation in some way. But you're really going to have to prioritize the demands on yourself and really quickly adapt to some new challenges. Because this is all about surrendering to fate. Whether it's to do with relationship, whether it's to do with career, anything like that, this is about needing to surrender to fate. So I do see overall you guys having this this restriction, but the restriction finally lifting towards the end of the first week into the second week. And I do see some really positive stuff happening that second into the third week, which I really like, because we have Venus is coming out of retrograde in you guys, right? We talked about that the last time. So let's get some final closing advice. We have Virgo, we have relationship, we have the sun. Yeah, so we got the sun. We want to make sure, we want to keep our ego in check. That is the advice here, the energetic advice. We want to keep our ego in check when it comes to relationships. Seventh house, is a Libra energy that is relationships. Libra is ruled by Venus, so this has to do with, you want to make sure that you're not digging your heels too much in when it comes to any sort of connection having to do with marriage, having to do with a business partnership, having to do with a close friendship, close family connection, right? And then we have the Virgo energy. This is a nice energy. Virgo is all about perspective. It's about being very critical, looking at things, being very analytical, being very thoughtful and mindful of things. So you really do want to, I'm sorry, that's Scorpio energy. I stand corrected. My apologies. That's Scorpio. I'm sorry. I need to turn my ring light up. Scorpio energy has to do with transformation, changes, right? It's ruled by Pluto. Pluto's all about an ending and a simultaneous new beginning, and really honoring that, allowing that to happen. So allowing the change to happen in relationships and keeping that ego in check. Oh, I like that a lot better even than having Virgo in there for sure. Yeah, so I like that. There's a lot of change happening here. That makes a lot more sense to me for sure, guys. So some restrictions, some opening up, and we see some new paths opening up for you guys. So overall, I see this as really, really, really benefic for you. So let's pull a couple of love cards for those of you here for love. Let's just pull a couple of oracles. Might be in love, might not be in love yet. Let's see what goes on. Let's see what goes on. Any energies that come up. Freedom. Freedom. There is nothing stopping you. The path is clear if you want it to be. Right? Criticizing one another will lead to further unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are, and your relationship will magically transform. Life is a series of constantly shifting cycles. When we resist change, we resist the natural flow of life and create unnecessary stress. Go with the flow. You will be surprised where it leads. These cards very much really resonate with the reading that we just did. Absolutely. So let's just see where we might need to release. See what's been going on, what we might need to release, and understand that we need to let go of some things. Okay, like the boat, receiving what you need, progression, arriving, moving on, closure issues. So it's leaving something in the past. Lightning, sudden change, shocking news, surprise, epiphanies, transformation. Transformation, that's Scorpio dice, right? The Scorpio die there. And then we have the chaser in a codependent relationship, fear of abandonment issues. We need to let this go. We need to let this go, Gem, whether it's you or whether you're dealing with an energy that's like that. You want to just let that go, let that go. Yeah, absolutely. You need to resist, you need to resist that, okay, in your life, period, the end. Whether you're dealing with an energy like that, Fear of abandonment, get in touch with that. If that's you, why do you feel like that? Get in touch with that. The past is the past. The past is the past. Toothpaste is out of the tube already. All right. Two of Swords energy. We have the King of Cups. We have the Page of Pentacles. Beautiful. Two of Swords. Very nice. Sitting there thinking about the two truths that are right in front of you. Moon and Libra. All right. Moon is I think, I feel. Rather, Moon is I feel. Libra energy is all about that 7th house of relationships, right? So it's really getting in touch with the truth of a situation and being at cross purposes with yourself or with somebody else about the actual truth. Now, guys, you want to just make sure, this is the advice, you want to make sure that your ego is not getting in the way, or somebody else's ego is not getting in the way, and they may need to be called on that. Then we have the King of Cups, beautiful energy, love it. Love it. Libra and Scorpio. So this is all about relationship and change in a beautiful direction. This is you dealing with somebody who gets it, who understands communication, understands how to share their emotions. This could be you. This could be them. But I'm getting that it is going to be the general affect of the relationship. And then we have Page of Pentacles. Again, right, different spread, but Page of Pentacles does indicate this new beginning, right? So this can be a new beginning in relationship, a new cycle in relationship. Some of you guys meeting somebody new if you're not partnered, but this is somebody who's really trustworthy. This is somebody who gets it. This is somebody who's willing to work hard at something. So we really like this energy. Absolutely. Nice new chapter for relationships. So letting go of the stuff that does not serve you, and really embracing the truth of something, not allowing ego to get in the way, either yours or somebody else's, to allow this new beginning. Good stuff. I like it. Thank you, Gem. I hope you guys all have a great and fabulous birthday. My birthday is on Saturday, so I might do a little pop-up extra video for that. I have to see what my life is looking like then. But to all of you, early, mid, and late gems, happy birthday to you. I wish you guys all the best, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.